So this is vine charcoal. This is a charcoal material that's not compressed, so it's not ground down to a fine powder and re-condensed into a compressed charcoal. Instead, it's just part of the branch of the plant that's actually burnt in a certain way that we can actually use it to draw. Kind of like if you have a bonfire and you pick up one of those pieces of burnt wood, see that it's black and you could probably draw with it. That's pretty much what this is. Obviously it's a little bit higher quality than that. But today I'm going to just use this for the drawing itself. Just that, my fingers, and for blending, and this kneaded eraser right here for the entire drawing. We'll see how it goes. So I use this side of the vine charcoal here so I can create big areas of tone like that, and then I'll tilt it up this way and draw with it here, holding it from more of the end than I am from the front like this, not like a pencil, more like a wand. And then you'll get some, go along with the shape of the actual charcoal piece, and you can actually get some lines that way. So I'll go back and forth from those two styles of holding the actual charcoal. I think vine charcoal and willow charcoal, for that matter, they're similar. Willow charcoal gets a little darker, you get a little more gray with vine charcoal, and it's a little more forgiving. I've done some willow charcoal videos before, but I think they're really effective to draw with, especially at the sketch portions, but you can even make complete drawings with it like I will right now, because you can get down some values really quickly and still manipulate the values and remove it. Sometimes when you use compressed charcoal and you go too dark too early, you're actually going to stain the paper and you can't go back to the white of the page as easily as you would with willow or vine. When you're trying to draw quickly and more expressive, I would just go straight for the vine charcoal, especially in life drawing settings, when you're drawing from life. When I'm drawing, like I say a lot, I like to squint at my reference. I have my reference pulled up right here on my iPad. It's a very realistic looking reference. It's initially AI, but looks realistic, and I think it's a good base for me to pull some values and some inspiration from. I'm not going to copy it exactly, but I'll find some of the angles and some of those details that I rely on through it, especially when I'm lost. I want it to be interesting, nothing too detailed, nothing too precise. It's going to be a pretty expressive, almost sketch drawing. But as you can see, once I draw a little bit, I'll wipe off some of it to kind of gray it out, hopefully not losing too much of those landmarks that I'm creating with the piece, with the piece of charcoal. And then I'll come back in, and as I'm more confident in where I have everything, I'll hit it up with some deeper blacks by pressing a little harder with the charcoal. I might not even need another size of this. This comes in a variety of sizes. I have this bag here. You've got what I kind of broke at the beginning of the video, which is like a longer squared off piece. It comes in circles too. And then you have these really big pieces. This is half a piece actually, because I broke it off before. But this is awesome to work with, especially the really big shapes. You can also chisel it down and sand it down with this sanding paddle that I had earlier, so you can get a nice crisp edge on it to work with, and you could even get some sharper lines. But I haven't even used the kneaded eraser yet. So really, you don't need anything else besides these two things: kneaded eraser, vine charcoal, and your oily, dirty hands. I'm just kidding. I like to use gloves because I draw so much that I'd spend half the day washing my hands. This stuff's probably not the best for you to absorb every single day in your hands. I think once in a while is not a huge deal, but who knows what it does if I'm using it every single day. For a while, I didn't even use gloves. I'm really happy I got used to them. Kind of feels weird. I try to use something a little bit smaller than what my hand fits because I want it to be a little more skin tight, to be able to feel the paper. When the gloves are too big, it's easy to lose feeling of what I'm doing. Okay, so as you can see, the light's kind of hitting from this side, so blending that out a little bit. Now I'm gonna carve out a little bit more of the face. Now let's take this kneaded eraser. You can see it's really black. It's usually light gray, but all the charcoal gets into it, so it turns pretty black, but it still works really well. So let's get into it. I'll make it into a chisel shape, and I'll sculpt it every single time. You'll see that I like make a couple strokes and I'll readjust the shape of it quickly. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the shape and you're gonna start to get unprecise in your stroke. So let's start to pop in some of these highlights. I'm going really light because as soon as you hit this this willow vine charcoal with this kneaded eraser, it's actually going to just pull up so much of it. It's not going to be like the compressed charcoal where you have to press pretty firmly. So let's be very precise, or more precise than usual with this kneaded eraser, and let's use these highlights sparingly. It's going to be an easy tendency to kind of just blow it all out and use so much of the white of the paper, but let's be aware of how many highlights we're using and use them sparingly. A little bit of it here, right there. And if I'm squinting, I can kind of see where the actual brightest parts of the face are. I'm going to come back in and carve out some of these shadows a little bit more accurately, but for now we're just going to focus on these lights because we have the kneaded eraser in our hand. The shoulder kind of comes down this way, so we'll hint at that. I'm going to keep the shadow areas very, very open and loose, not detailed, but where the light is hitting, that's where the viewer wants to look. That's where the eye of the viewer naturally goes to. So we want to be a little more cautionary of how we approach the light. A little bit of reflected light here, probably a little bit more reflected light here on the other side of the face, but be aware that the reflected light is nowhere near even the mid-tone of the other side of the face. It's going to be a lot darker. It's just a slightly less dark. It just looks like it might be bright when it really isn't because of the surrounding darkness. So keep that in mind. Also, this is looking a little bit too uniform, so I'm going to break it up. I'm going to actually pull off some of this, these extra marks. It's a little bit uninteresting over here, so I want to make this piece a little bit more interesting by removing some of that, and then maybe pulling in here a little bit. I want the focal point to be kind of this area here. So removing a little bit lightly with this kneaded eraser. It could blend pretty well too if you wanted to, but there's some highlights in the hair too that I'm going to kind of hint at. Hair is the same as drawing any other part of the face. People have trouble with certain features of the face, and in my opinion, that's not allowed. If you're having trouble with a certain part of the face or hands or feet, which I mean, naturally, I believe that hands and feet are difficult to draw, but it's usually a foundational issue. So you're not relying on the foundational skills that you have acquired or developed. And because it's all really the same thing, you need to master the proportion, the ability to kind of recreate the proportion that you're looking at, and also your ability to match the values. That's all it really comes down to. That's as basic as it gets. So if you're able to do that the same with light and shadow, and use the same principles, all the parts of the face, all the features of your drawing should be pretty similar. You might get stuck somewhere naturally, but back to the vine charcoal, but it's all the same principles. So going back to the hair, it's actually going to be, you're going to work the same as if you were drawing an eye. You're going to do large shadow shape, then you're going to carve it down to the right proportion. You're going to do a smaller shadow shapes and smaller light areas on the eye, and just carving it down and down and down. That's how you're gonna do the hair. So large clumps. Ooh, nobody likes that sound. Large clumps. Don't work strand by strand, because then you're just gonna have spaghetti instead of hair. You want to squint at it, and it's gonna read like hair by getting the big, dark areas correct and reading nicely before you narrow it down to the smaller details. Because if you get those big areas of value correct, especially with the side of the charcoal, then it's gonna naturally read really nicely when you start to add that icing on the cake with a couple of those strands. Like if I have this kind of going on, it's starting to look like hair. I can do a better job if I take longer, but just add a couple of those strands like this. Now it starts to read like hair. Like if this was all hair, even though I didn't really put any strands over there. Luckily this is vine charcoal, so I can just lighten that right up and not get a little bit crazy, go too crazy with it. I want to create a little bit of movement with these expressive strokes on the outside. And then we could come back in the boring stuff. And we're losing some of this eye, but that's okay. It's in the shadow, so I'm gonna really, really be careful on how much detail I put in something in the shadow, because if you squint, your eye naturally goes into these light areas. So I'm gonna spend more time in these areas, especially where the high contrast areas, where the dark shadows touch the bright light, the bright tones of the face. That's super key. Some of those subtle changes in the light as well. Now I'm actually doing some hatching with the tip of the charcoal, which I don't really do until the very end, to kind of refine the darker shadow shapes and carve out. It's like using another tool. A lot of people rely on having their set of HB, 2B, 4B, 6B, even 8B charcoals, drawing pencils, even graphite. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think if you have to rely on, depending on your art style, you know, I think there are some art styles out there that really heavily rely on that. They're just ultra realistic, ultra hyper realistic. But besides that, I think that it's important to rely on your skill of being able to lift the charcoal off the page as you're working to create something, to create a lighter movement, instead of relying on something that's a harder piece of charcoal that forces you to be lighter in your approach. I think you should just be able to try and control your stroke with the hand and be a little bit lighter instead of relying on the tool to control your skill set. So I think that no matter what tool you have, if it could go pretty dark on its own, that's why I kind of go with the softer charcoal with everything I do. If I need to be light, then I'm going to be soft with it. And if I need to be darker, I'm going to layer it up. And I'm going to also use a kneaded eraser, not for covering mistakes, but actually for carving out the opposite of the charcoal, which is highlights. Now this is a really quick sketch, so I could keep working on this all day long, refining until we start to find something that's very realistic, hitting a lot of realism. But for the sake of principles and for the sake of the different techniques you can use just with only the kneaded eraser and only the vine charcoal, it's just repetition of what I'm doing here. I can do a little bit of reflected light on this side to kind of pop out the form of the face on the other side. But We can have a little bit of reflected light here on the nose, and a little bit of the nostril on the outside here. And you can just keep going and going, but maybe a little bit of the teeth kind of showing through just a tiny bit with the relaxed open mouth. Actually the eyes, okay, hold on, one second. We'll sculpt out a little bit of the eyes there with a bright highlight right there. A little bit of the iris coming through under the pupil, right there. And actually what I would also do is take some of this hair and some of the highlights in the hair and then bring it across so that the highlight is meeting that shadow of the hair, depending on how the light's hitting it. Gives a little bit more depth as well. Yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. Quick little tutorial on how to draw with Vine charcoal and just a kneaded eraser, nothing else. Your fingers can blend. Try to wear gloves if you, the oils on the paper cannot be that great for it, but not the end of the world either. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want any art materials or any of the courses that we have available, check out madcharcoalshop.com, and we'll link it down in the bio. Thanks for watching, guys.